ahead.
Okay, should be good.
Thank you so much, Caminantes, for having us tonight. We are super excited. I would like to start off with introductions from just our Aspire team. My name is Elizabeth Ceja, and I am the regional recruiter for the Los Angeles region. So I support with classified and with certificated staff. And we also have a very special guest joining, which is Christopher Carr. He is our executive director for our LA region, and Catherine Reed, she is the director of talent. So along with us, we have 2 other regions and a whole other talent team of recruiters and directors as well. So I'll go ahead and start us off. Kat, would you mind sharing your screen? Kat has also put the PowerPoint in the deck for all of you. If you cannot access it, just let us know.
I apologize. It's coming up now.
No worries.
Thank you.
So first and foremost, we are super appreciative and grateful to Lourdes and Alexis and her team that, you know, we're willing to just meet with Kat and I and just hear a little bit about Aspire. Super excited for all of you that are in this program. It sounds like an amazing program. And so we're really excited just to move forward and be able to support you in future meetings with future workshops, but also just with any education employment opportunities that you're interested in. So I'll go ahead and start and talk a little bit about Aspire, and then I'll move over to Kat. So tonight is really just dedicated for you to learn about our programs and to bring, you know, our values to life. There's a lot of information on this deck in regards to like our programs and what we're about, and a little bit about what we do and all the supports that we give our teammates. But we do have time segmented after a couple of slides for questions. So feel free at any time to raise your hand, put a question in the chat, or just stop us if you have a question. Like I mentioned, we are the LA region, but we do have 3 regions. So Aspire Bay Area is composed of 11 schools throughout East Palo Alto, Oakland, and Richmond. We have about 4,450 students, 82% of which qualify for free or reduced lunch. And in the Bay Area, Javier Cabra is our Bay Area executive director. Another one of our regions is Aspire Central Valley. We have 16 schools across Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto, and Ceres, serving over 5,800 students, 68% of which qualify for free or reduced lunch. And Anthony Solina is the executive director at the Central Valley. And our favorite, Chris Carr, executive director for LA. In LA, we have 11 schools, all within, we have 3 in South LA. The most are in Huntington Park, and we have 2 in Southgate. So if you're familiar with those areas, we serve approximately 4,000 students, and 95% qualify for free or reduced lunch. One of our programs is a teacher induction program that we're super excited about. It's a free 2-year program to support new teachers as they clear their credential. So a lot of our teammates have entered this induction program, and it supports just the demonstration application of the California standards for teaching, for the teaching profession. It builds upon the knowledge and skills and abilities that each teacher brings, and it's designed to just recognize the strengths and professional development needs. We do have someone that is in charge of the program and mentors and leads the program. And a little bit about us working for Aspire. So I'm not sure if the team has already shared with you, but I previously sent 1-pagers that you can look at when you have a chance. That really goes into detail, but some of the great benefits of working for Aspire is 100% coverage of select health insurance plans if you're a full-time employee, 95% healthcare coverage for dependents. We do have contributions for CalSTRS and CalPERS, both transferable if you already are enrolled. Tuition reimbursement. A lot of our teammates really take advantage of this, up to $1,500 per year. And we have an employee assistance program as well. Our pay is very competitive. We actually just starting on the 15th, it's going to reflect. Our finance team has really been working on really being competitive out there. There's a super competitive market in all our organizations, CMOs and districts, but we're really ramping up our pay scale. And so it looks really, really great this year. And our teammates are super excited to just be placed on years of experience and be on a competitive scale. And then also we have a lot of generous time off, including sick days, PTO, and paid holidays. I do want to say Aspire really takes they just really see us how hard we work. So this year, for example, like our Thanksgiving break was extended a full year. We got 2 extra weeks for summer. And so they just know how, exhausted teammates have been just post-pandemic and how hard everyone is working. It's taken a village to just, run our organization. And so they're really mindful about just really taking care of their teammates. Any questions with the first couple of slides, or any questions that you may have about the schools in our region or any of our other regions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
So I joined this call. I just transferred from Cerritos College, and so I'm at I think 80 units right now, and I have 3 semesters left for my bachelor. And I'm just wondering, so is this a program that I would join post back? Like, am I not able to do the ITEP program at Cal State where I get my credential and get my bachelor's at the same time, or? You know that answer?
You can, or is it for like specific for a teaching position, or just for like, are you looking into a classified position?
Well, great questions. Because they have a couple, you can get your BA only, or they have this ITEP, for your multi-subject credential, where you basically are doing your student teaching and earning your credential at the same time at a local school. And I thought that was my goal because I didn't want to come back post-bac so soon. I want to get into the workforce a little sooner than that, and then do post-bac maybe in the summers to come on my years working. So I'm wondering if this is maybe not the right program for me. What do you think?
I would say definitely we do have a great credential program. And so what a lot of our candidates do is they submit their transcripts. And so what I do is I have our credentials review the transcripts, and they can identify where we can place you at that time. So for example, if you can sub based on your coursework, if you can get an emergency credential based on your coursework, if they advise that you start as a paraprofessional, meaning like an instructional aide, just to get your foot through the door, and then get support as you're, going through your program. So if you're interested, definitely, I would say get in contact with us and send us your transcripts, and I can definitely have our credentialing department review them so they can better guide you. They would reach out directly and just better guide you in terms of what it is that you are trying to get into. Like if you want to get into, you definitely need for sure like a BA to be a teacher, but we do have, student teachers that are in credentialing programs, not yet fully credentialed, but in credentialing programs that have qualified based on their coursework, or if they took their CBEST into a teaching position. But we also have students, not students, teammates who are instructional assistants, and based on their coursework, or if they have a BA, have, for example, become on-site subs for an entire year, or have been able to do some type of sub work, which has given them that experience. Not sure if that answers your question, or if Kat would like to add.
Yeah, that helps me out a lot. I just wonder if, so basically, since I haven't fulfilled my bachelor's degree just yet, I wouldn't be able to join the program where you work as a new teacher getting your credential. Is that right?
Correct. Just,
Okay.
yeah, but we do have lots of, I would suggest starting off in a paraprofessional role. Because then this way, once you start off in a paraprofessional role and you discuss your goals with your principal or your supervisor, they will do anything to support your way into that direction. And definitely keep you in mind when there's like an open position, or try to get you into teaching as soon as you have accomplished just those steps that you need to be in the classroom.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm going to put my email address in the chat. So anyone that would like to, email me or also just send me their transcripts for whatever it is that you're looking into, and I can have our credentialing department review them. Any other, I think Alexis, you had a question?
I did. I think it was more like a logistical question. So are the schools that you guys cover, are they pre-existing, like without Aspire, and then you guys are kind of like partnered with them, or are they like part of Aspire? Like without Aspire, they wouldn't be a school.
Correct. They're all founding schools through Aspire. So we are, our schools are in LA, 9 are authorized by LAUSD. So we do have 5 of our schools that are on, they're called PSC schools and they're resident only schools, but those are on LAUSD, like, property. They built those buildings. And the other ones are ones that we have just, have been able to find on our own, but we are all founding Aspire schools.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, I just want to tell you guys also about our affinity groups. So here you'll see a picture of Anne-Marie Ferruzzi. She is an amazing teammate engagement program manager. And so Aspire has really, really in the past couple of years focused on this program, which aims to systematically develop anti-racist beliefs and taking collective action in service of disrupting the racialized outcomes and experiences that our community persists through. So these affinity groups are, it's a series of PDs that are held in equity learning sessions. They're offered to all teammates. We have a couple throughout the year. And so it's just grounded in our values and equity belief commitments. And it's just a great space where just people can go to just be heard and be seen. And it's amazing that we finally have this forum for our teammates where we can just bring into, our schools and communities and within our scholars and for ourselves as well. So this is a great slide that is included in a lot of our affinity presentations. Transformation happens through a combination of work. So in affinity, we need places to go and work with others who share similar identities. A specific benefit is that affinity groups support individuals to find and offer mentorship and to engage in discourse that is feared or not yet appropriate for mixed groups, but is still necessary to address. So that is our focus with these affinity groups that are now offered for all teammates within the organization. And we have 7 different affinity groups. And so these are the groups that we have. And again, they are offered throughout the year, about 4 to 5 times. Regionally, we have region-wide PDs. And so what that means is that every single teammate, it's like a day of the year. In LA, we sometimes have about 3 a year. And so it'll be on a pretty much teacher planning day where it's a student-free day. We come together and we have different teammates who will be presenting on these different affinity groups. And so you're able to join, and it's just kind of like a safe space where you get PD and you get to really engage with other teammates that you may never run into because, they're at other school sites or you've never met. So I myself have gone to different of the Latinx affinity groups during these region-wide PDs, and even for myself and my personal experiences and just my learning development through, my professional experience have been really helpful. And so here you'll see Stacy Thomas. Mr. Thomas works along with Anne Marie, and he also leads these affinity spaces. When you get a chance, we're not going to play the video right now for the interest of time, but please click on the YouTube link. You'll see our CEO on there, and he'll talk a little bit about these spaces. But they really help us just understand the power of privilege and oppression and explore our lived experiences with oppression. It's a lot of just kind of like reflecting in a lot of these groups, heal from harms of oppression and work to dismantle the oppression. And after every affinity group or every region-wide PD, we always do surveys. These are some of just the feedback that we've gotten from some of the participants in the affinity group. I'll just read out one bubble, but I'll leave it for you to have and read on your own. But one is, this session was extremely powerful. I felt motivated to serve my students because I felt my identity was being validated with a group of peers that are like-minded. One other one is being around people who understand you without having to say anything, the feeling of community and not feeling alone. And that is exactly, I would resonate with that one myself. That's exactly how you feel when you come out of one of these affinity group sessions. And our Aspire values. So our community is predominantly Black and Latinx, persist in a system in need of reform to adequately educate everyone. Aspire Public Schools aims to transform the disproportionate outcomes that are a product of that system. And we believe that our core values can guide how we think and work together toward greater racial, social, and gender equity across our schools and community. So we recently actually kind of designed our values, revamped our values, and it was a journey that brought communities and families, students, and teammates to engage in this process. Literally, it was really nice to see just parents come together and have a voice. And so that's one of the things I love about our organization, that we really are inclusive of everyone. And so collectively, two of our values that they came up with was bienestar and culture of belonging. And we'll go on to the next slide, Kat. I'll just leave it for them to keep an eye on the time. And then the last three are community partnership, agency and self-determination, and joy. And so a lot of when we have like our home office meetings, you know, one of the things as either an icebreaker, like, or at the end, like an exit ticket, like, you know, what are your grounding yourself in today? What's something that you are going to commit to? You know, is it community partnership? What are you going to take back this week? What are you going to focus on this week? Is it joy? So these literally were our values that we just revamped. And again, it was a collective agreement between families and students, teammates as well. Any questions on the affinity groups or our core values, or any wonderings that you may have before we move on? Thank you. Now I'll pass it over to Kat.
Thank you, Liz. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about just our special education program, which is actually a special place in my heart. I came to Aspire as a special education recruiter, so I solely focused on staffing for our special education students. This year we do have Megan Gazelle. She's our Senior Director of Special Education, and our program for special education is important for delivery because delivery will support all students in the least restrictive environment through inclusive practices and collaboration with families, communities, and school site teams within the core program to address the unique needs of our diverse learners. And we really do a good job, and I will also say in our LA schools, in terms of our inclusion model. So our inclusion model is a focus where our special education teacher, along with our general education teacher, are working collaboratively to support the needs of the students. There are IEPs where students do have to be pushed in and pulled out, but in general, our goal is to ensure that we're meeting the needs of all of our students in the least restrictive environment. And I kind of said, kind of touched on some of that in terms of these bullets here, but our education specialists consult with other service providers. So not only does the special ed department consist of ed specialists, but we also have our mental health therapists, school psychologists, occupational therapists as well, that all help to support our students along with school psychologists. For our special education department, along with all of our teaching staff, we do deliver quality professional development Liz touched on, but specifically for special education, there is intensive training for our new teammates. There are professional learning communities within the region across schools and also throughout the organization across all 3 regions. Actually, about 3 years ago, we did start a program to help increase from within our special education teaching staff. We have realized how important it is for our students, and we also recognize that that is a hard to fill position nationwide. So part of what Aspire has done is created an intern sponsorship program. For this particular program, we work with Alliant. It is the online program, and we have school staff that, if they are interested and meet the qualifications, go through just a rigorous application and interview process to be considered for this. And that is because Aspire will cover tuition for any internal teammates that we have that go into this program. This just gives you a general overview of what we are expecting of our teammates that want to consider this program. So for example, if we have new hires that come on within 5 months, you can be considered to go into this program. And it's an intern teaching program. So while you are completing the intern program, you're also in a teaching position with a full salary and benefits as teacher of record. Any questions about special education? Perfect. Thank you so much. Liz talked just a little bit about our affinity groups and how we support our people of color. And we have also realized within our Black and Latinx communities that we do still see some statistics that do show, for example, that our Black boys are being suspended, at a higher rate. So we are working as an organization to focus and have a priority within our Black programming. Some of the guiding principles around why and what we're doing, we know that Black students are brilliant. There is nothing to fix about them. Black children have not thrived in Aspire, and we do not need to be defensive or attribute blame, but we definitely want to be stronger together. Some of the things that we are implementing and have implemented just to focus some more attention on our Black students and families include Black History Month that we fully implemented across all schools, pro-Black celebrations. We do have pro-Black coordinators, as well as student unions. What we are continuing to implement this year and moving forward is giving our students opportunities to tour. I don't know why my tongue is twisting, but our students to tour historically Black colleges and universities. We also want to implement Black student unions in our elementary level, community partnerships, of course, and wellness and partnerships with the families. Any questions around our discussion for pro-Black programming? Yes, ma'am.
My question is, how can you explain more about what a pro-Black coordinator is? Like, how is that different from your typical coordinator?
Yes, so just a person within our schools to provide focus. So organize, schedule, communication. So they're just leading that effort within the school,
Okay.
but specifically around our pro-Black programming.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for asking. So I did share with you a piece that Aspire does in terms of working with students or college graduates that are interested in going into education through our sponsorship program. We also partner with Alder, which is a teacher residency program. Within the teacher residency program, Alder Graduate School of Education, I'm going to read their mission. We believe all students deserve access to excellent teachers. Our mission is to create opportunity and cultivate success for every student by recruiting and training excellent future teachers. What their outcomes include the coursework that a residency will be involved with, the seminars, along with the actual residency. So the residency is where they, in fact, are on campus, almost like a student teaching environment, completing their first year of their residency. And this will go into our program overview. Before the residency year, of course, you have to apply, attend an interview day, and if accepted, enroll in the Alder, or also in addition to the interview day, enroll in the residency program. So during the residency year, you have theory, as I mentioned, you are completing coursework, and you have practice where you actually get to be in a classroom working with a teacher. After your residency year, continue to impact the lives of countless children. The residents receive priority hiring as a full-time teacher and are part of the Alder GSC alumni, Graduate School of Education alumni. For example, we have Alder residents that are in our schools now completing their residency year. So for next school year, 23-24, they have the opportunity to interview with their existing school, and most likely, as long as everything has gone well throughout the course of the year, they would have priority in terms of being hired at that school. Sometimes there's not a vacancy, and so they still have priority within Aspire LA, and even have the opportunity to transfer to other regions if that was something they were interested in. So the residency is a little bit different in terms of pay. For example, with the sponsorship, you're an intern credentialed teacher, so you're teaching. With the residency program, you're not really, your work is your residency, so they do try to compensate that because you are spending your days in classrooms by providing a stipend, the $20,000 minimum stipend. And there's also grants that Alder is working on and have been approved for. And then there's scholarships, and then there's also financial aid. Alder works to provide you with, as much as they can of a cushion to give the resident an opportunity to fully get into the program and be in the classroom learning. So for folks that are interested in Alder, their requirements are a bachelor's degree completed by the end of June 23. They would like a preferred grade point average of 2.65, and of course, eligible to work in the US. Any questions about our Alder residency program?
I have a question. So we apply to Alder, the residency program through Alder, and then they will place us with you, or we connect directly with you. And then like that kind of correlates with one another.
Yes, they actually do work with more than one organization, but if you come to Alder and say, oh, I'm interested in working at Aspire, that's something that they would definitely do.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would love that.
I'll just add really quickly too. They also, for example, right now they're currently accepting applications. So you can right now like apply for the following school year to be a resident. And if you go directly to our website, there is also like an application for them through there on the Aspire website. And I believe for next school year, the application deadline is October 14th. So it's like in 2 days. We've been advertising it for a couple of weeks now. And I'll just go ahead and talk about just kind of like our hiring process. So I do know that from what the team has shared that some of you are, interested in a position within education, not necessarily a teacher just yet, but some may be interested in just getting their foot in the door. So here is our website. And we do, again, like I mentioned before, we have year-round paraprofessional opportunities. And so a paraprofessional opportunity is an instructional assistant, an after-school educator. We do have SPED instructional assistants. And so those are full-time and part-time. It really just depends on the school site. A lot of them are full-time. Some I do have like right now, schools that are even doing dual, like they'll hire Alexis and she'll be full-time, but she'll be doing, 20 hours a week as an instructional aide, and she'll be doing 20 hours as an after-school educator. So that is kind of like an option. And then depending on their budget as well, sometimes they're hired as part-time, and then the school site at the end of the year will have a little bit more budget to make some of those part-time employees full-time. So that's always a great way, again, like I said, to just really get your foot in the door, because we at Aspire, as most organizations kind of have like, just like an annual review. Well, we call them, we have a beginning of the year, a middle and end of the year, and it's a time where you get with your supervisor and you talk about the goals. And so we really like to retain our teammates. So that's the opportunity where the hiring manager will, sit with the teammate and just, hey, where do you see yourself? How can I support you? What are areas that you would like to grow in? And so if you were to share with your principal that you want to become a teacher, or you decide you want to join the special ed program or be a counselor or anything else, they will point you in the right direction and do anything that they can to support. We do have some principals, if the budget permits, where even they have helped their teammates pay, for example, a sub permit. That may be an application that will cost a teammate. If they want to become a sub, it's like $100 for an application fee, right? So they will cover that cost because they really want to support you and like hiring you. A lot of our schools do practicum students. So they have partnered with like Cal State Dominguez Hills. We're trying to just find different partnerships, which is amazing that we're partnering with you now. But they'll have their student teachers come in, and then, they have a sub position. And so they'll do anything to try to get credentials to like support them, or they'll meet with credentials at the beginning of the year. Hey, I really am interested in like hiring them. How can I get them on track? What do they need to do to like become a teacher or become a long-term sub or a non-site sub? And so they work really well with supporting their teammates. And so our paraprofessional roles, those, like I said, they're year-round roles. So you can go onto our website and apply. If you email me directly and I know that you applied, I'll be sure to like, if you tell me I want a full-time or a part-time position, just kind of put your name at the top of the list with principals or hiring managers that I know are hiring, because those classified roles are not really, I submit the offer, but I'm not screening those positions. It's really the hiring manager. So I don't really know kind of who applied until the offer comes to me and I submit it. Unless someone directly emails me and sends me their resume, then I'll put them through, or they tell me, hey, I'm interested, you know, and I'll go ahead and like send it to a principal. But as far as like, same for a teacher, if you're interested in like the residency program or being part of, you know, SPED, or you want to do like a counseling intern, or a regional role, or whatever it may be, it's always best to feel free to like email Kat and I if there's something that catches your eye and you want to know a little bit more about, even if it's something that we're not directly hiring for, because it's not within kind of like what we support with in the region. We'll definitely be sure to point you in the right direction or connect you via email with that person. One of the reasons why we wanted to also include the Bay and Central Valley, even though you guys are in LA, because if you know of anyone that lives out in the Bay or the Central Valley, there is need right now across the organization for paraprofessional roles, for teacher roles. So feel free to like share the website with them, email me and say, hey, I have like an aunt or uncle or a cousin that lives out there and they're interested in the residency program out there, or they're interested in any type of role. We can definitely support in that. The resumes that I do screen for certificated, for example, are all teacher certificated, meaning like all teacher resumes. The on-site sub positions and sub positions, because for a long-term sub, you need to be credentialed if you're going to be in a room longer than 60 days. Now to be a sub, you can be just with a regular 30-day permit for 60 days. They've actually extended it to 60 days because there's been a shortage in sub candidate post-pandemic. So they've extended that. But if it comes through me, I can review it. I can send it over to a principal and just say like, they're really interested, or, you know, send it over to credentials, have them review your transcripts and say, would she be eligible to be in this teaching position? Right now, we do have, for example, like small candidates in our pools. And so our credentialing department is really supporting us in getting some candidates emergency credentials if they're not credentialed, but they have a BA, for example, in art, and I need an art teacher, or they have a BA like in that content area. They'll review your coursework on your transcripts and they'll say like, yeah, she doesn't even, or he doesn't have to take the CBEST because their coursework meets the requirement. We can get them an emergency credential. However, at the end of the year, emergency credential for one school year, right? So at the end of the year, either you would have to work towards that, or just knowing that at the end of the year, you might not be able to be placed if they can't extend that credential. But they are just very willing to support candidates and trying to get them in the classroom one way or another, or, you know, just trying for us to be able to hire, especially those that are interested in going in that direction. And so usually once, you know, the application goes through, every school site pretty much has the same process, but it'll be an interview with like their leadership team. If it's a classified role, it'll be a classified team member. And then from there, they'll, you know, run your references and offer you a position, hopefully. But again, we're here to support, and we're super excited for this partnership and being able to just give additional workshops. We do love to do like resume builders. We love to do like interview tips and tricks. You know, one of the things we all do as recruiters is all day just kind of screen resumes. And so one of the workshops that we really like to do is just those resume tip and, you know, trick workshops of how to really just make your resume kind of stand out. And so what hiring managers are really looking for and which ones they kind of glance at and we're like, we're not even going to give them the time of day, you know, but really lift up kind of just all the work that you've done, whether it's been community service or whether you have any awards. Like there's so much that you can put on your resume that can really lift up whom you are as a person and what you're trying to just really, you know, make your resume pop as to all the other ones that they may be screening. So that's pretty much all of Aspire and what we're doing, what we're excited here to support with. Any questions? I know we are at time, but any questions that we can answer for you guys?
I do have one question. I know you guys said to email you guys if there's any like counseling interns like in the area, but do you know if there's any like in LA currently right now? Or
We do have counseling interns, definitely, but that falls under our Director of Student Support Services. So I
Okay.
can definitely connect you with, her name is Alejandra Velez. And so she helps all the counselors in our school sites and works with, like the interns and helps them just kind of like our residency program, lock in a counseling position within Aspire. So I don't know right now if her program is accepting for next school year or kind of how that's working, but I can definitely connect you via email with her so she can answer any questions or explain a little bit more about what that process looks like.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
What are the minimum requirements to be a paraprofessional within Aspire?
So the minimum requirements to be a paraprofessional is 48 units. College units, if you don't have those college units and you only have a high school diploma, then you would just need to take a paraprofessional exam. And so those you can now take online. And so as long as you pass the paraprofessional exam, you submit the certificate for us. And so we will determine that. So for example, you want to go ahead and apply for an IA, you don't have enough units, then we'll send you direction where you can take the paraprofessional exam. If you don't pass, I believe you get 3 consecutive tries before you can try again. But if you do, then all we need is for you to submit your certificate, and that will allow you to go ahead and be in a paraprofessional role as an instructional assistant or after school educator or for SPED as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really easy. And we prefer experience, obviously, as a paraprofessional, but we understand a lot of the students, even just high school students, even some of our own students that have graduated from Aspire, they want to get their foot through the door. So that's the easiest way. And so they don't necessarily have experience, but they may have tutored before, that even counts as, some type of relatable teaching experience. But if you never have and you have passed or, have the units, then you do well in your interview. They have hired lots of instructional aides with just their first position being at Aspire, and they've grown from there. And we've seen now those instructional aides be teachers, because then from there they've done the residency program. So Aspire is really just about growth within. And I've been with Aspire for 10 years and have really been in different positions. I started off as an office assistant and then was an office manager. Then I was executive assistant to superintendent. I was special projects. So I really have been fortunate enough, because of the organization, to just grow within and have been given the opportunity to just tap into different teams. And now I'm a part of the talent team, which I love, because I thought I loved operations, and now I'm I love being able to partner and just meet new people and be kind of that person that helped hire someone amazing at our school site. So I've enjoyed recruiting.
Thank you for letting us join you this evening. And we look forward to our next one.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. A lot of really good information, really good help. I think it's going to be really helpful for just to have a connection with even some sort of counseling thing, or just knowing that we can reach out to you via email for other connections and things. I think that's going to be really helpful. So thank you a lot for that.
Mhm.
You're welcome. I would say I would ask if you would just think about collectively as the team of what are some of the things that you would want to connect with, and send us an email to both Kat and I, if it's include the counseling and anything else. So then we can really just have it all in one place and direct you to all the different people that we may be able to connect you with, as well as ourselves.
Yeah, I think that sounds very doable.
Mhm.
Okay, awesome. You guys have a good night. Yeah, I think we're all set, right, Isabel?
Yeah.
We're all good. Thank you so much,
Okay,
everyone.
cool.
Sounds good. And thank you
guys.
to everyone else that joined. Thank you so much. Have a great
Thank
evening.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good night.